Everyone. So tomorrow is ICSE math exam. I hope that you have prepared very well for the exam. Now, since it's just the day before the exam, only some time is left. So the best thing would be now to just do a quick revision and then just relax, go to sleep, and then go for your exam tomorrow with a very relaxed and fresh mind. Now, you might be wondering what kind of paper you might see tomorrow because there have been some changes that you're aware of compared to previous years. This year's paper, um, I feel it's going to be still very similar to all the previous years' board exams, but there might be slight changes in the pattern. You have already seen the latest specimen paper and even the competency focused question bank. Um, so, what I just want to tell you right now, like, I just want to give some suggestions to the students who are appearing for the exam tomorrow, is that try to rely on the concepts that you're aware of and then read the questions carefully and try to answer them um, as per what you understand. You have already studied all the chapters and concepts. Try to make connections, try to understand what information is given, what concepts are being used, um, and then use the concepts, formulas, methods to get the answer. Now, let me just revise all the topics one by one quickly because I feel this is needed just before the exam. You don't have to try to learn anything new right now or try to solve very difficult questions that you have never done before. You can go back and try to revise questions that you have previously done and you know how to do them. So you just need to keep some things in mind. Like you have to keep few things very freshly in your mind so that the moment you see any question, you can immediately remember what concept it is, what formula is involved, and you can very easily solve the questions. So I'll give you some more suggestions uh, later half in the video. But right now, let's just quickly go through the topics that you have been studying this year. So this exam will be of not 2.5 hours, but 3 hours that you already know. And you will have mathematical tables provided. So you would need to refer to maybe square root values or the trigonometric ratio values for non-standard angles. So during the exam, you just need to ask for the table and they will give you. Okay, so the first chapter you remember it's GST. In GST, you might get questions where you just need to think of very simple concepts like what is list price or marked price, if there is any discount involved. If there is any discount involved, apply that discount, subtract the discount from the marked price to get the selling price. And then if there is any tax given, some rate of GST, that is applied on the selling price to get the final amount that the customer has to pay. So such basic questions can be asked, something with even profit, loss, and something with inverse case. Inverse case means generally the questions will ask you, given the marked price or the discount or the rate of GST, find out how much GST and what is the amount that customer has to pay. Inverse case means they might give you what is the GST or the amount that the customer has paid. You would have to find maybe the rate of GST or the marked price, something like that. And then you are also expected to find the price paid by the consumer after paying state GST, SGST, or central GST, that is CGST. And then there will be different types of items provided with the respective GST rates. And again, problems based on corresponding inverse cases can also be asked. So inverse case is a bit rare. They have not been asked very often in the previous years. The direct ones are more common, where you have to actually find what is the GST amount and the final amount to be paid by the customer. So inverse case again would mean that they might give you that this is the GST paid by the customer, or this much rupees is the SGST paid or the CGST paid. What might be the rate of GST or rate of CGST or rate of SGST, or the marked price of some item, or the quantity of some item, how many number of kgs. So that you might have already seen in the competency type of questions. Then banking involves recurring deposit accounts, and there are two formulas. One is to calculate interest, another is for maturity value. So read the question and understand what information is given and what are they asking. Very often I've seen there is some confusion regarding the given amount, like some 50,000, whether that is the interest or the maturity value. So read the sentence carefully. If it is interest, the word interest will be mentioned, that the person after some number of months or number of years is getting 50,000 as interest. So you have to understand whether interest is given or maturity value. Another thing that we have seen in the recent papers, the recent specimen and the competency paper, is something about the nature of interest when we are looking at recurring deposit account. So remember that the kind of interest that we are talking about for recurring deposit account is always simple interest. And if you remember your lower grade, simple interest is P into R into T by 100. Principal, rate of interest and time period. And that's how we will be deriving this formula for interest for RD accounts. There is a way that you can do that, but again it's not necessary for you to learn that. It's not going to be asked in the exam, but this can be asked, that the nature of interest is simple interest, and this interest is actually, the way it is being calculated is that recurring deposit accounts, you're depositing for n number of months, let's say for 12 months. So then you're depositing the same money, which is the monthly installment, in the first month, second month, third month, till the last month, let's say 12th month. Then this I value that you see, this formula, it's actually a sum of interests at the end of each month. So end of first month, second month, third month, till the last, let's say 12th month. And then when you add up those interests, you will get this I formula that you see. So if they ask you the nature and the duration of interest calculation, you should say it is simple interest calculated monthly. I remember there was a question, some MCQ in one of these latest papers. And there is another type of question I remember seeing in the specimen paper, something called the qualifying sum. Qualifying sum. Now qualifying sum is actually the money on which the total interest is being calculated on. So that is actually equal to the sum of the monthly installments throughout the time period. So let's say that you're depositing 1000 rupees per month for 12 months. Then the qualifying sum is 1000, which is the money deposited for the first month. And then for the second month, you're depositing 1000 rupees more. So interest at the end of second month is calculated on the previous month's 1000 plus this month's 1000, which is 2000. So the qualifying sum is actually a sum of all the amounts available at that month. So it is actually sum of P, which is installment of first month, plus 2P, because 2P will be the amount on which the interest is calculated end of second month, up to NP. And this sum, if you figure out P is common, then you get a sum like 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus N. Now 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus up till N is just sum of N natural numbers, and it's also an AP. So if you apply sum of um, the terms of an AP, you will get a formula like P into n plus 1 by 2. So this is the qualifying sum of money. In case there is any question, you can apply this formula directly to get the answer. So you see, qualifying sum is actually a part of the expression for interest. You can see here P into n plus 1 by 2. This portion is the qualifying sum. And on this, the rate of interest is being applied, which is R. Okay. Then moving ahead, we have shares and dividends. Again, you just need to be familiar with the basic terms involved in shares. So every share has two types of values. One is face value or nominal value, which is fixed, and dividend is calculated on this value, that you have to remember. Another value is market value. This keeps changing, and buying and selling of shares happens on the market value. Then dividend is something like when you have purchased shares, you are a shareholder of some company, and the company has made good profits. So the company may decide to give some percentage of money to every shareholder. Because of them, their investment, the company has made some profits. So as an incentive to the shareholders, a company might offer dividend. So that's why the company can decide on a rate of dividend. It's a percentage of the nominal value of a share that a shareholder can receive. Then premium and discount refers to whether the market value is more or less than the nominal value. Premium means the market value is more than the nominal value. Discount means the market value is less than the nominal value. And in case both the values are equal, the shares are at par. And then these are some formula that you have already studied. Another formula which is very useful for such questions, I can tell you, is that the rate of dividend into nominal value is always equal to rate of return into market value. So in case out of the four quantities, three are given to you, you can easily find the unknown. So this covers the entire portion of commercial math, and you might wonder that how much marks are going to come for every chapter. There is no fixed weightage of chapters as such. It's just that, see, when a question paper is being made, the person would want to include questions from all the topics that are listed in the syllabus. So the more concepts a chapter includes, the more number of questions will be coming from that chapter and the more marks. So it's like that. There's nothing fixed weightage, no blueprint given for this exam. Okay, then moving ahead to algebra. We have linear inequations, the first topic. And inequation is something where something is more than or less than something, not equal to. Or you can also have more than or greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. So those symbols you're familiar with. And it is for one variable x, and x belongs to n, w, z, r. So natural numbers, whole numbers, integers. Integers can also be written with capital I, and real numbers for capital R. So this gives the replacement set, which is very important for you to notice in the question, because the solution set will always depend on the replacement set. So for example, if you get x is less than 3, and let's say x is belonging to natural numbers, then your solution set includes the smallest natural number, which is 1, then the next one is 2. 3 will not be included because x is less than 3. If I compare this with, let's say, x belongs to whole numbers, then for whole numbers, even 0 is included. So the solution set will change depending upon x belongs to what. And another important is if x belong to real numbers, then the solution set you will not write like this. You have to write in the set builder format. So it is always curly bracket x such that, or colon. Then you write what is the range of values of x. So let's say x less than 3. And you can write and or comma, anything is fine. X belong to real numbers, close bracket. So solution set you have to write in the correct format. This is for x belong to real number, which is the set builder form. Or if x belongs to anything else, natural number, whole number, integer, this is the tabular form. Okay, so writing the solution set in the correct notation and then representing the solution on the number line. So after you have written the solution set, you have to draw the number line, and remember to use a pencil and ruler. And there are a lot of instructions required how exactly you have to draw the number line. You can refer to my previous videos for that. Then the next one is quadratic equations in one variable. So one important topic is nature of roots. So we can have different cases depending on the value of discriminant. This b square minus 4ac is also known as discriminant. So if it is more than 0, equal to 0, or less than 0, there are three possible situations. If it is more than 0, or I can also say positive, then we will have two distinct real roots. Distinct is same as unequal. For example, x can be equal to -2 or 5. So these are two different real values for x. If the discriminant is equal to 0, you will have two equal and real roots. So then if suppose you have to write the solution in this case, you have to write x equal to 3 or 3. Even though x equal to 3 you are thinking it's just one answer, but a quadratic equation you have to write two solutions, two roots. So you have to say 3 or 3. They are real and equal roots. Otherwise, if the discriminant is less than 0 or negative, then we will not have real roots, we will have imaginary roots. And any quadratic equation you can solve using these two methods, either factorize it or use the quadratic formula. Now there are questions which have been asked many times before, which is to do with, given a equation, find the roots correct to some number of decimal places or some significant figures. So mostly for those questions, you will first rewrite the equation in standard form. For example, if it is jumbled with some fractions or anything, you have to simplify it in this form: ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. X is your variable, ABC will be some numbers. And then your quadratic formula is x equal to minus b plus minus root of b square minus 4ac by 2a. And when you're solving, write the formula. And then the next step you have to write is how you're substituting a, b, c values in this formula. That step is very, very important to write. Don't skip that step. And then when you get your answer, I mean, in this you have to also refer to that square root table. And then when you write the answer, apply rounding off rules. And if in case they're asking significant figures, I have already explained in a previous video how to identify significant figures. But if I give a very easy example, if I say 0.05070, in this situation, 5 and 7 are non-zero. Non-zero digits are always significant, so there is no confusion there. In case of 0, there are three places you can find 0. There are zeros in the beginning. These starting zeros, they are never significant. There is a 0 in between. They are always significant. In case there was another 0 here, that is also significant. There is a 0 at the end of this number. Now this number has a decimal point, so the 0 at the end is significant. In case I had a number only like 5070, the last 0 is not significant because 5070 I have not written with a decimal point. So that's all that you need to know about significant figures. I will continue this video in another part.